Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. We had a good day in the market. It's Thursday, August 4th. We're going to review 0-day options today. I took on SPY in a small account challenge. And today, more typical price action, very grindy, melt up. Good for just a couple 0 days, maybe. Selling premium 0 days for sure. We'll look over some of the setups. I am red today, unfortunately. I don't feel too bad about it though. I'm not too red, and I didn't overtrade, so that's good. I had the right idea on one of them. I just didn't wait for structure, but let's get into it. On the 30-minute, it ended up being, the range actually ended up getting pretty large, but not in a nice way, just a melt up. So futures, spreads, could have worked for sure. So let's see. Wow, so 6 points, over 6 points, huh? That's pretty good. The last, I guess, point came in like the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes even. So, yeah, melt up. And this morning was a little bit of a gap up, kind of continuation of yesterday, above the 5-day. If you remember, end of close, we jumped up past the 20-day. Today we opened up right near 5-day. It was down here. Now it's up here. And this morning, we had chop liquidity build. So I saw this green. Once I saw that, I figured bullish. Bulls build liquidity with the selling. And so I was kind of waiting to see if we get an inverse head here and to fill the gap, because there was a small gap down here. So I got green, I got white, and I think I've got purple also by this morning liquidity. And I had red for the aggressive buying, gold for the aggressive selling, which didn't really show up at all till maybe end of day, other than these few spots this morning. And it's one of those days where if you miss kind of the morning hour or so trade, or the first 2-hour trade, then there might not be much else for 0 days. So it can be tough. It can be tough if you're hanging out waiting for something not to overtrade. It's tough. So anyways, one trade this morning, I could have actually kind of milked this thing a little bit. And yeah, if you see what's going on here, we're wedging. So we had the white for the support, we had the green for the resistance, and it broke the white. And then that's when the green really solidified right there for me. And then retesting the white on resistance here, finding support on it, and then up to green. So this would have been actually a pretty nice entry right here for puts with green as your stop. But if you don't want to take it before the wedge breakout, you could have easily taken on this candle or on this red retest. That'd just be a wedge, not necessarily a head and shoulders. I mean, I guess there's a little one you technically could say, shoulder, head, shoulder. I didn't catch this trade, but just reviewing it. So when I review the videos, I can try and catch these wedge breakouts. I like see it, and I'm just, yeah, more time, more experience. I've been more comfortable taking them. So then it sold in the purple, and then it came down to green here, and this is green. As you see, this was actually a little bit lower. This is actually low a day right there. I moved it down to that wick, but basically the same spot. And the gap wasn't quite filled here, and I was like, it doesn't have to fill the gap. Sometimes it just tricks people because everyone thinks the gap's gonna get filled and it won't fill it. And so my mistake here was I didn't wait for structure. Yeah, not quite, just barely, not enough patience. I had the right idea, getting calls on a support, as well as once we had shown that bulls were building liquidity and it was holding a support. So starting off, it would have been a retracement trade that could have turned into what it basically did, which was a breakout. So I got one call at 10:12. So I see it here, holding that as support. It breaks my purple here on this candle, and then on the next candle, I sent it. Got a call. I didn't get it at the beginning, unfortunately. I got it like here. I was a little late on it. So yeah. So then you have white here. That would have been my stop. That's the part of the problem with this. I was too far from my stop. Big red candle immediately after, and then another big red candle, and then it's making little head and shoulders, and it's also, this one also closed under the white. So that was it for me. That was where my stop was. So I cut this one right here at 10.15, or lost 26 cents or 36 cents to 28. It wasn't a huge loss because it was a pretty cheap contract. So that was the first one, and then it came down and broke through the green, but bounced out of there. And this was a gap fill. Had a nice engulfing candle here, which could have been a nice look for an entry. I didn't flip long. I guess since it broke my green, I was kind of shaken. I don't know, uncertain, whatever. So yeah. Sometimes it works, and sometimes I'm just flat out wrong. So flipping to the other direction will just mess me up. But my idea was right, and it ended up working. So this was the structure I need to wait for instead of it just climbing out. So this could have worked if it had made a nicer structure like it did here. So this is the bulls trapping the shorts, stopping them out, and then taking that liquidity and running. So same idea. This was liquidity, this was the inverse head, and that was basically what I need to wait for, was just that inverse head. So anyways, this ended up rallying up. Not to say I would have caught, I would have held it all day long. Maybe if I had quite a few of them, I would have held one for a long time. But with just one contract, I realistically maybe would have closed on this candle. Maybe would have waited till the top of the green, which kind of ripped through and made a cup. So I probably would have closed on this candle or this one somewhere in here. But that would have been a nice trade if I got a nice entry on there. And on a day like today, that would have been probably one of the better 0-day option trades. So I missed that one. It did pretty much complete the cup here, but not quite. And I was like, I still liked it because it broke this green. And then I put another green for in case I wanted to build more liquidity. I was waiting. I was trying to be picky with it for the handle. And so if it had made it down to white, then I would have gotten long on it, just as that as my support. The white just bounced around VWAP. I suppose I could have just used VWAP as my stop out. I don't usually do that. Sometimes I'll take entries or exits on VWAP, but I don't always just take it just because of that. I was looking for an entry though for this handle, and with the green up here, it did break it. I didn't want to get it there, basically high day, because it hadn't technically completed the cup. So the next entry would have been, if not on that break, on this retest of green, which was oh so sweet. And this just kept happening over and over today. Small moves though, tight ranges, so more for scalping if you're doing 0-day. And my count, the small account, I'm not really, it's not really for scalping. I'm trying to catch bigger moves. But green is green, so I just got to go for the scalp if that's all it's presenting. But yeah, the retest here, so that was your little cup that completed and the handle, and here's another little cup and handle. Broke green, broke it again, and again retested it, so there could have been another long, but look how tight this structure's starting to get. It's just tight little range. And then I identified this white, this tapering algo, and so I was actually waiting for a retracement trade. I was going to take it if it broke to the downside of this, like it did yesterday. I was just keep myself aware of it, because this to me looks like a bearish controlled buying, but it stayed in that most of the day, so it doesn't mean it has to break out of it. And yeah, that's pretty much what it did all day. I mean, you could have gotten some entries here. I think, let's see, where's my next entry? So I didn't enter here. I'm not sure if I had the white yet. I maybe did. I wasn't looking to trade in this chop though, honestly. Like, yeah, the trade I probably would have taken, if anything, would have been some sort of put trade with a retracement. It would have had some velocity most likely, but just to try and sit on a contract to the long side this is not good. Future spreads, whatever. Broke up out of that white, so could have taken a long there on the same idea of it breaking here. But again, this is without volume and being in the middle of the day. This is not a great trade. Again, just chopping around the white, came back down, and at this point, I'm thinking I want an inverse cup to close potentially before I go short. Just because it's grinding at that point on the 30-minute. We were nearing the top of the green here. This is Spy Day Trading on YouTube. His 30-minute chart. This is Eric. Let's see, that was at 1 o'clock, that candle. So I figured we'd probably find some resistance here on that green. It ended up just melting up through it. That was right here. So here was the little move on that 30-minute. It finally built a little liquidity on that 30-minute resistance of that green, which could have been a spot to go long. And sure enough, I actually did go long here. So I'm happy about that, that I tried to get involved with what was present and I had the right direction. Given time of day, tricky with 0 days. So it broke green here and made a nice little head. There's a shoulder. It did pick up some volume on that candle. I got a call at 12:51. Yep, so I'm even happy about my entry. Middle of the day, liquidity is usually, volume's light, and so it's going to take time. Lots of times to get lots of retraces, lots of retesting before it moves, unless volume's cranking. So I did wait, and this red candle came down and tested it. I got a call there. So really got a nice entry. And theoretically, my stop was breaking down this green, even though it's the wrong direction. But I didn't want to wait that long. But I thought, you know what? I probably should. So it came up, kind of started grind down, and then I'm like, oh man. And then on this candle, I did end up stopping out on that one. So it made one nice little inverse head. So actually, I guess the same lesson as this morning that didn't quite do. I mean, I'm happy about it though. I'm fine. I stuck to my rules, stuck to my discipline on even my entry. I'm happy with, and the only thing I could have done different was jump back in. And same thing with this morning. It ended up working, and I didn't just jump back in. So I needed to kind of reset my brain quicker after you have a loss, just to quickly be able to refresh, whatever, to have the focus and the mental clarity to see what's going on and enter a trade if it's there. So that was that. Yeah, because that was a nice inverse head. It just came back in the green before it grabbed that shoulder here, and this would have been a nice trade. So on this one, I probably would have entered as it broke back out of the green on this green candle, grabbing that liquidity. But I was, it was the middle of the day, and I was like upset. Not upset, but yeah, just didn't reset my mind quick enough. Just like down there. This one wasn't as clear to me, but I guess because it broke back in my green, which it can do, but as long as it's not breaking like this white or completing the inverse cup technically. But I'm just thinking this is the liquidity that if it starts grabbing that, then we have a head and shoulder. So that's kind of part of the reason why green is my stop. But yeah, maybe that thinking is not right. I'm not sure. But here's a nice little inverse head and shoulder structure with a break on green, as you can see there. So that would have been a fine trade. Small moves though. It's not really like I'm missing much, honestly. Like this would have been, if I held it to the top of white, which was basically here, I don't know, that would have been like 7, maybe 10% if I got a nice fill down here. Very small. If I'm gonna hold it all day, sure, it would have maybe gone 100 or 200%, but I'm not doing that with one contract. Came up, so just like it was doing down here, I think it kind of kept doing it. Yeah, breaking green, retesting, finding support, and then you have throwing your white for your stop. Same deal here, breaking green, came down, retested. You could go along there, broke green, came down, retested. But all the while, it's also grinding up in this tapering white channel, so you're basically just looking for good entries on that. And this is such a tight range. Sometimes you just get a nasty candle in there. So it's a little dangerous, a little risky trading this tight of a range. End of day. So end of day, look at this little wedge. Look at this tight little wedge we ended up making. I didn't do anything. I tried to get a fill on the little account. It wouldn't fill me. I had a limit order. So this was the 10-minute candle. And I'm like, this is a tight range. I doubt it's going to go anywhere unless it breaks out of this or out of this. So this first 10-minute candle, like pretty much perfectly tested both sides of the wedge. And then did end up closing above it. And then this one right here, I put a limit order. It was like right here. It didn't fill. And then I was like, I'm just gonna do it on the big account because I can't afford, just one flashy red candle. That contract to be down 50%. So I was like, I'll do it on the big account. So actually I did get a couple calls here on the big account. I didn't hold it very long. Just being that it's final 10 minutes. Actually, no, I didn't get it here. I got it once it broke the white. That's what it was. Because it broke the green, but I'm like, well, this is resistance right here at white. I'm not going to try and catch that little move. So on this candle, actually, I got 2 calls. And I think I sold one on this candle, another one on that candle. So they ended up doing, I don't know. Yeah, it went 650 to 1150. So it almost went 100%. I sold them at 7 and 710. So small little gainer, tiny green on the big account. I had 1 or 2 trades before then that had made me a little red, and then that one just made me a little green. And on the little account, small account challenge, well, it's still alive. This is 60 something days of trading, starting with $500. So it's not bad. Last $500 challenge I did, it was blown up in, I think 30 days. I have to go back, but I reset after 30 days. So the fact that this lasted twice as long, that's good. That's good. That's improvement. There it is. There's the trades. Down 19 bucks. I did have more buying power, so it's kind of one of those things like I don't want to get FOMO or think I have to force a trade because I have buying power. So I'm fine with that I have buying power by the end of the day. And yeah, tomorrow's Friday. We just kind of melted up and broken out. We might have a squeeze tomorrow or a melt up because we're almost at all-time high. Wow, yeah, I didn't even realize. So here, I think here's all-time high right here. So we'll probably be flirting with all-time high tomorrow and probably just a grind. Probably expire puts worthless and might be an end of the day take profit, kind of sell off. Not sell off, but taking profits. We'll see. Thanks guys for watching. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Peace out.